of the Ohio High School Baseball Coaches Association. It's my honor to welcome you here today to the 2026 Ohio High School Baseball Coaches Association Hall of Fame Banquet. At this time, to lead in our 2026 inductees are all previous OHSBCA Hall of Fame inductees. At this time, we'd like to welcome the Ohio High School Baseball Coaches Association 2026 Hall of Fame class. Stand up. Stand up. At this time, I'd like to take a moment to recognize Adam Henke of Rawlings Sporting Goods. Rawlings is our largest corporate sponsor and the sponsor of our Hall of Fame banquet. Please give Adam Henke a round of applause. At this time, I'd like to introduce Associate Executive Director Jeff Malcarrick.
Thank you, Drew. This year we're doing something a little different. As you can see in front of me here is a new memorial for our coaches who have passed since last year. We just thought it was something that we wanted to do different for them. So if you would please join me in a moment of silence. Our bat on the table says, "In memory and thanksgiving for our coaches who now have a better seat." Ken Seelock from Lakewood, Jack Brannon from Wheelersburg, Howard Converse from Princeton, Dennis Woods, a Hall of Famer from Brush, and Dave Starling, a Hall of Famer from Hilliard Bradley. If we could have a moment of silence. Thank you very much. Now it's my pleasure to introduce for our invocation, Father Michael Watson.
Good and gracious God, though we are at a time when the weather forecast looks bleak, yet blessed here at this clinic, considered the country's peak, with so much to offer from professionals who speak, and the latest in products to get the edge or to look chic. We pray for hitters with bats that havoc will wreak, for infielders with gloves and arms that are sleek, to be spared of key injuries so as not to be up the creek, and to have the moxie for wins to be able to eke. We thank you for the coaches inducted for their common streak of living with passion and integrity week to week, where baseball is a venue to learn, grow, and tweak, to impart lifelong values, and with divine help to seek. May this food and fellowship, O Lord, you bless, and keep us humble in both defeat and success. We ask this in your name. Amen.
At this time, we'll begin the dinner portion of the banquet. Immediately following that, we will begin our induction ceremony. Good. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we're going to begin the 2026 OHSBCA Hall of Fame induction ceremony. First, I'd like to introduce our district reps, Jim Hanick from the Northeast District, from the Southwest District, Ty Welker, Kurt Bly, from the Central District, Corey Kahn, and Dave Mykrantz. From the Northeast District, Tommy Caroselli. From the Southeast District, Jeff Noble. From the East District, Nathan Pratty and DJ Butler. From the Northwest District, Rick Bowerman and Trent Thomas. For our executive board, Glenn Morris, Frank Gamble, John Cronauer, Aaron DeBoard, Chad Jensen, Brian Hiscox, Mike Valesco, Dave Burkett, Father Michael Watson, Craig Kyle, Adam Henke from Rawlings, Jeff Malcarrick, John Combs, and Scott Manahan. At this time, I'd like to introduce John Cronauer from OHSAA to present the OHSAA Sportsmanship, Ethics, and Integrity Award.
Thank you very much. It is my privilege to present the Sportsmanship, Ethics, and Integrity Award from the OHSAA for 2025, I believe. I've got the wrong date on this one. We'll have to get the right date on here. To Chris Veit from White Oak High School.
Congratulations, Coach Veit. This time I'd like to introduce Mike Valesco, OHSBCA past president, as he will kick off our ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests and members of the Ohio High School Baseball Coaches Association, it is my privilege and honor as past president of this great association to now embark on the marquee event of this annual convention, the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Today, 5 giants of our coaching profession, Tim Broskie, Mark Brunswick, Brent Renollet, John Sarver, and Kevin Yoder, will take their place along with 183 previously inducted Hall of Famers. They are the 51st class to be inducted. Family and friends have gathered to honor Tim, Mark, Brent, John, and Kevin on this very special day. A plaque will be placed at Bill Davis Stadium on the campus of The Ohio State University. Their names will be inscribed on a plaque at the Ohio High School Athletic Association's Board of Control office, and a picture and a biography will be placed on the current Ohio High School Baseball Coaches Association's website to forever remind mankind of their contributions and achievements made by these giants in the game of baseball in the state of Ohio. I would like to first introduce Doug Roberts, who will present our first inductee, Tim Broskie.
Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, members of the Ohio High School Baseball Coaches Association, it is my honor and privilege to be here representing a large and still growing group of men who are coached by Tim Broskie. Some of these men are still young with their whole lives ahead of them, and they may not yet realize how deeply they've been influenced. Others of us, not so young, and we have had the benefit of hindsight. We can look back and see how 4 years, an eternity, at the time, and a blink of the eye now, helped shape the better part of the last 40 years. I'm also lucky enough to be part of a smaller group of men who went on to coach high school baseball ourselves, including a handful in this room today. Like first-time parents who finally understand what their own parents went through, coaches experience a similar awakening. Most of us realize our coaches weren't nearly as hard on us as we thought. Even though I'm one person representing hundreds, if not thousands, I want to share my experience. And while not everyone who played for Coach Broskie was impacted in the same way, many were far more profoundly than I was. As a player, Coach instilled in me everything coaches strive to teach: work ethic, accountability, discipline, mental toughness, time management, communication, everything, all the traits that help shape the man, the husband, and the teacher that I am today. But probably the most valuable thing I inherited from him, and anyone who knows him will get this, is a chip that sits right on my shoulder. As a product of Columbus City Schools himself, Coach Broskie has what can only be described as an Indiana Jones-sized boulder on his shoulder. And every coach here knows success requires a great amount of internal motivation. Coach Broskie has built a Hall of Fame career in part by taking a small chip from that boulder and placing it on the shoulder of every player he's coached. Coach will always say when it comes to going to Whetstone or playing in our league, it is what you make of it. But I've found few motivators in life are stronger than believing you have something to prove, especially when you come from our league. And trust me, they don't have to be actually thinking less of you for you to believe it. Even a compliment like, wow, this field is really beautiful, can sound in your head like, well, what did you expect? Whether they're real or imagined, those slights just make the chip bigger. A little over 10 years ago, I found myself in the darkest period of my life. I had lost my first real job in my chosen career and was forced to move back home. I had no direction. I was lost. My best friend and former teammate reached out and said Coach Broskie might be looking for a freshman coach. I'd seen Coach here and there over the years, usually at a Buckeye tailgate, but we weren't really in touch. I reached out and there was no hesitation. He gave me the job because he said, I know how much you love baseball. That chance, that opportunity might not have seemed like much at the time, but it meant everything. It gave me a purpose. It gave me a direction. And for the first time in a long time, I felt that chip in my shoulder return. I used it to prove that I could coach the game that I loved. One thing many of you may not know about Coach Broskie is that he throws batting practice every single day to this day. He might leave here and go throw batting practice, I don't know. But that means I'm throwing batting practice. That's the chip. I said to myself, if the old man's throwing batting practice, I have to throw batting practice. I don't care if it was 6 days in a row and my arm was about to fall off, or if it was 95 degrees and humid outside and I was gonna pass out. If he's throwing, I'm throwing. I used that same chip to prove that I could make something of my life. During my 16 years coaching alongside him, I discovered a passion not just for coaching, but for teaching and the importance of family. I went back to school, I earned 2 degrees, I met my beautiful wife, Leah. So many of the tools that made those things possible were given to me and sharpened under Coach Broskie. That brings me to the third group I'm honored to represent today. During my time with Coach, I had the privilege of spending time with his family, his wife Elizabeth and their 3 sons, Logan, Mitchell, and Brady, who they've raised into outstanding young men. I've seen firsthand the impact he's had as a father and was fortunate to help even coach Brady's summer travel ball teams. So I believe the third group I represent today is the family and the friends of Coach Broskie that became family along the way. Now, in a moment, Coach is going to come up here, and he's probably going to thank some people, but that's only because there isn't enough time to bring up all the people that would want to thank him. So, Coach, on behalf of your former and current players, the fathers and sons who know exactly what you've done to shape who they've become, and those who haven't quite figured it out yet, the families you've impacted, and the coaches you've created, congratulations on an unbelievably well-deserved honor. Ladies and gentlemen, City Buck, Tim Broskie.
Well, that's going to be tough to follow. That's pretty good. First of all, I want to thank the board. These guys up here are the ones that voted me in, and there is a point system, which I never knew that. And I've been around. If you're around long enough and you keep doing it, you'll get in. And I think my longevity of 33 years at Whetstone and 38 years as a coach really, really helped, and a teacher too. And I'm still teaching and I'm still coaching, and I'll probably still coach. I got a good 40-some years in me, so I'll keep going. But thank you, board. This is an elite fraternity. The baseball coaches were in a fraternity, but this is unreal. So it's amazing. I want to start with recognition here at my table here, and try not to choke up. First, I have my wife, Elizabeth. We just had our 30th wedding anniversary. She was with me for everything. 1994, when I took over, she was there. We played a game, and I had one dad there, and I had my girlfriend, and that girlfriend ended up being my wife. That was it. And we grew and it grew, so Elizabeth, my wife. I've got Brady, who's my youngest son. Brady was, played for Coach Kirby at Dublin Kaufman, played baseball and football there. Then I've got Mitchell. Mitchell was a wrestler, wrestled at Kent State, and he's getting in the business marketing world and did a lot. My third son is the oldest. He wrestled a couple years in college too and came home, and he joined the military, which none of us are in the military. None of us own a gun. We've never hunted or anything, and he's a military special forces police, and he's in Italy. So he's there. Next, I have my athletic director, Hannah Blykamp, and she's been at Whetstone. How many years, Hannah? 4 years. She's done wonderful things with facility upgrades and supporting all the teams. We have a lot of sports teams at Whetstone, a lot more than, I think we have more than anybody in our league, I'm pretty sure. So we have Hannah. Then we have our big shot from our school district. We have Dr. Clarino, the head of student activities. He's got to shuffle a lot of stuff, and with he's got his head on his swivel and coming and going everywhere. Next, I have Lou Genazo. Lou is my head JV coach. He's been with me for many, many years. His son played for me, was a phenomenal pitcher. When his son was, I don't have a rule, I don't want dads coaching, but once their kids are gone, then they can coach. Lou came on and coached. Lou's assistant is Mike Timmons. His son was also a really good pitcher, played some college ball and lefty. Mike Timmons has been with Lou. How many years, Mike? 6 years. Then I've got another one here. This is a good friend of mine. This is Brian McHolland. He's up at Cleveland, and we built a rivalry and a competition. This is the winningest Cleveland City League coach in the state of Ohio. And it's like, well, we're the winningest in Columbus. He's the winningest in Cleveland. He comes down to Columbus, and we'll get a try. I go up there, and he'll get me games, and it's a really good, it's neat. And he's in a tough situation. He's got all kinds of obstacles. I have obstacles. He has more that he has to overcome, and he's retiring this year, so we wanted him to take a personal day and come on down. So he's originally from Reynoldsburg, and he went up to Baldwin Wallace to play baseball, and he just stayed up there. And then I have Coach Roberts, who's been with me forever, and boy, his speech was good. You guys got to admit it was pretty good. And Coach Roberts is not going to coach this year, so it's like I'm going to have to step my game up because, good head coaches, you want to do a lot, but I'm very, very good at delegating too. And so that's going to be a tough challenge there. How am I doing here? Oh, I'm doing good. What, 310? I'm doing good. Next, I got some players out here that are coaching now. John Durang, where you at, John? John's over here. John was a very, very good catcher for us, played at Mount Union, went down to Georgia, was successful at some big-time high schools down there, came back up, coached at Whitehall, saw there was a lot of challenges there. Then he found a home at Buckeye Valley, coached our high school summer team for a couple summers. I kept in contact with John. Both his mom and dad were educators too, and he's doing great things up at Buckeye Valley. Jeremy Ortman, where are you, Jeremy? Jeremy Ortman in here? Jeremy Ortman is up at Olentangy Orange, was another really good player for us, catcher, caught at Capital, coached with us for a number of years. Couldn't get into the district at Columbus, which is very sad as a teacher or anything, so he's up there, and he's Coach Marker, one of his right-hand mans besides Coach Laddick, and he coaches third base for Orange, and he's an amazing coach. He'll be coaching for another, 20, 30 years. Next, we go right here. We got Coach Kirby. Coach Kirby played at Whetstone, and his brother played at Whetstone. Coach Kirby's mom and dad went to Whetstone. He's the head baseball coach at Columbus International. His brother coached our JV team for many years before he moved up in Medina. Isn't that correct, Kirb? Brunswick, up there. So he's up there, but Coach Kirby's, he won numerous city titles, too, at our rival school, who the next gentleman I'm going to talk to is there. We can't even say their name, guys. I'm sorry, but everybody knows who our rival is. But and now Coach Kirby is in the process of building a brand-new program at a school, an international school, which is an ESL school. It's at the old Brookhaven High School. Those of you who heard of Brookhaven, right there on Carl Road. Started the program up, right, Coach? So he's got his work cut out there, but he's doing great things. And then we've got Coach Nisley. Now, Coach Nisley has been around. He's a guy who went to Grandview. He's coached at Kaufman, coached at Jerome. He's been everywhere. coached, he's had 2 coaching stints with me. I don't know the total number of years, Brian. You know how many years you've been there? 8 years at Whetstone. So he's at Whetstone, but he's at Centennial now, and he's in the building. And he's the assistant soccer coach. He's the head wrestling coach. So, you know, I think the principal put a little pressure on him to get him back over there. But he's a good man, too. He's been around coaching for a long time. I know there's others, many, many others. I've saw 3 student teachers at this clinic that went to Ohio State and were student teachers in my classroom. We got Coach Liston at New Albany. We got your guy at Harrison Central. So it's pretty neat. It's been a really, really neat experience in coaching so many people and so many teams and so many lives and so many good people I've run into over the years. A couple guys I want to give shout-outs to here that I know these guys aren't here, but when I was a young coach, they took the time to either, if I approached them, they didn't bite my head off because I'm just this young guy coaching, and I always feel like some people look at city schools different, which maybe they don't, but they gave me the time of day, and they always do, and that's Phil Callahan, you know, DeSales, Scioto, and Orange, Tim Saunders from Kaufman, Scott Manahan, right down here to my right, Dave Klontz from Heath, John Nelson from Fairfield Union, Don Thorpe, Lakewood, and John Canizero from Newark Catholic. Those guys are most of those guys are in the Hall of Fame, and as when I first started back in the late 80s, you know, I would be just follow them around. If they spoke, I would listen. I would take notes, and put those notes in a manila folder or put them in a filing cabinet. Just like, here's my outfield drills, here's my infield drills, here's my pitching, here's some good first and third stuff. So it was good. It was good being around those guys, and those guys always gave me the time of day. If we would have a big non-league win, they would come out of the clear blue back when they had the dispatch, and they'd see the scores. They'd say, hey, man, I saw you beat such and such. That's really good, you know, and but whatever you do, beat Centennial. That's always said that, so it was good. Next, let's see here. I told you guys my years. Whetstone, like Coach Roberts said, we're in a beautiful area. We're over in Clintonville. We're right by Waterson, right by Henderson Road and 315. We're in the Columbus City League, North Division, and we do have a little bit of a chip, and we try to overdo it with kindness. I don't have a lot of enemies, believe it or not. I don't have a lot of people. I try not to burn bridges. Don't burn bridges with umpires. Don't burn bridges with coaches. And we want our school to look really nice because the first thing when you walk out, they look for litter. We don't have any litter. I'm OCD with litter. And we paint our dugouts as much as we can because a good paint job makes things look nice. So we take care of that. We bought the windscreen. We bought the yellow tubing. Our booster club is probably the best in our district. It has to be. They bought us a $9,000 scoreboard one year, but we paid to put it in. We've got 3 outdoor batting cages that we paid and did, and it's like every year we try to do a little bit of an upgrade. I got a $3,500 PA sound system, and we did that, and we do it all. We self-fund and we fundraise. My players buy in, the parents buy in. I don't have parents emailing Miss Blykamp about playing time. If I got a problem, I'll address it, and I'll say, well, I'm not going anywhere. Either you get your son better or you got to go. That's just how it is. And I've got that luxury where it's like we're not, you know, the numbers don't lie. So I really don't have a lot of parents' problems. So it's like it's rare. It's a rare situation at Whetstone, and I guess God's blessed me there. Last thing is our trips. So we started doing spring break trips, and first year, 94, we didn't go anywhere. I think I played like Big Walnut, DeSales, and I played Callahan, and a bunch of really good teams over spring break. The next year, we went to Dayton, played a Catholic school, a suburban school, and a city school. And then I think in 96, 97, we went down to Cincinnati and did the same thing. You know, played some phenomenal teams down in Cincinnati, teams way over our head. But then we played the best Cincinnati city school. Cincinnati Withrow was really good at the time. They had a guy named Coach Chambers that was sending guys to Xavier and UC every year, and we would lose to them. And then finally, I think 98, we got better. 97, we beat them. So then in 98, we started flying, believe it or not. I'd take 20 kids and 3 coaches, and we'd fly to Cocoa. We'd fly to Orlando. We'd rent 3 15-passenger vans and drive to Cocoa Beach. And we did that for many, many years. I remember the AD and principal calling me in. It's like, are you sure you know what you're doing? Or this is going to be on the news. I'm like... And, I would threaten the players. I got full permission If you break a rule, you won't graduate. You'll never be allowed at Whetstone. Your siblings won't be allowed. And it's a scare tactic, you know. And I never really had any problems, knock on wood, so it's good. Yeah, so we've been to Florida 3 or 4 times. We've been to the Ripken 4 times. We went to Nashville, Tennessee a few years ago, and we took the kids to the Nashville Sounds game. We went out to eat in small groups on the Strip, didn't have any problems. It was great. I went to a showcase preseason in Kentucky one year and played at the top. Those guys, I'm texting 3 years later, I go, Coach, you remember that team we played? That guy's pitching right now for Louisville. I told you guys that guy was good. And then they're like, look, there's that guy. That's Kentucky's number 3 pitcher, and he pitched against Whetstone. I'm like, so it's crazy. But the games are nice. I play a tough non-league schedule, and it's good because our philosophy is if I play Dublin Kaufman and he beats me 15-0, it only counts one time. It only counts one time. And I mean, I'm going to get respect for playing teams like that, and we're going to get better. So we have to play the big schools. So in closing, that's all I got. I went quick. I'm doing good on my time, I think, or I might have went over. I'm close, but thank you, everyone. Sorry for getting a little emotional and everything. God bless.
Congratulations, Coach Broskie. At this time, I would like to introduce Kurt Barhurst, who will present our second inductee, Mark Brunswick.
I'm a bit of a last-minute stand-in here, so I'm going to apologize. I'm going to read from my phone. So, as I said, my name is Kurt Barhorst. It's truly an honor to stand here today to introduce someone who means a great deal to me, not just as a brother-in-law, but as a friend, a mentor, and a man whose life has been woven into the fabric of Ohio baseball for decades, Coach Mark Brunswick. As many of you in the room know, Mark comes from a remarkable baseball legacy. He's the son of Hall of Fame coach Sweet Lou Brunswick, a name that carries a tremendous respect across the state. And if you ask me, Mark is the next Brunswick who deserves to take his rightful place here today. His career, character, and his impact speak for themselves. Mark is a proud 1984 graduate of Coldwater High School, where he had the privilege and probably a bit of a challenge at times to play for his dad. Those years produced something special, back-to-back state championships in 1983 and 1984. His talent and hard work didn't go unnoticed. In 1984, Mark was drafted in the 3rd round by the New York Mets, beginning a 5-year professional career with that organization. But as impressive as his playing career was, Mark's true calling was always coaching. He began shaping young athletes in Bellefontaine, continued that mission in Marysville, and eventually made his way to Lehman Catholic. It was there that he coached one of my 3 sons, an experience I always cherish. Watching Mark teach, motivate, and care for his players showed me firsthand why he's so respected. He doesn't just coach baseball, he builds young men. Beyond the field, Mark has built a beautiful life with his wife, Gay, celebrating 39 years of marriage. Together they raised 2 wonderful children, Mackenzie and Ben, probably his greatest accomplishments. And now, as retirement settles in, you won't find Mark slowing down. You'll find him exactly where he belongs, on a ball diamond somewhere, passing on the love of the game to his grandchildren, Louis and Olivia. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce a man of integrity, dedication, and heart, a man who has given so much to the sport and to the young people blessed to play for him. Please join me in welcoming Coach Brunswick.
everybody up here is just really worried. They're on pins and needles because they know Brunswicks can talk a little bit and so forth. Well, these awards sometimes are interesting because an individual stands up here, but it's a team award, okay? It's such a team award, and my family over there is right there. Everybody is right there. First, before we do move on, though, I want to give thanks to the organization. I don't think we realize what they really do behind the scenes, including myself, because I grew up with this organization with my dad way back when, Lou. I mean, there were times we would get out of school just so we could come to the clinic and so forth. Dad would call us in sick, so don't tell the principal or anything like that. But this was like a holiday for us. We never missed, never missed, never missed. But the association does so much. I do want to give even special thanks to Timmy Saunders, Scott Manahan, Jeff Melkert, Ray Benjamin, Craig Kyle, Dave Hall, Frank Gamble, who I consider took this organization into this third layer even bigger. Because when my dad and them started it back in 74 and 75, they needed somebody to carry on that foundation, and boy, they brought it in. They brought it in. So commend all these guys for the work they do. It's truly amazing. Thank yous and congratulations to John, to Timmy, BR back there, okay, and Kevin, congratulations on the award. I want to get into just thank yous. I just want to go straight from here and go with the support. As you know, coaching is hard. Coaching is about your support staff. Sports are amazing, but it's amazing what your support staff can do. I was very fortunate to have a Brunswick family that was baseball oriented. My dad, I would say, was pretty good, okay, and carried out a legacy that was hard to live up to. And when this award came to me and so forth, and when Jeff made the call to me, boy, it was amazing. It was amazing. It's something fun to do that your dad already went through and so forth years ago. So I thank them for the nomination and getting in here. I want to thank some of my teachers. I want to go straight into it. Some of them aren't here. Most of the people are here. We got a crew over there, okay? We got a crew, but some of the teachers, Jane, you remember this, Marilyn Sievert to Larry Knapke, so stood out to me. So stood out to me. My inner circle of close friends, Kurt and Connie, Joe and Shannon, Greg and Pat, Henry and Sally, Rick and Jolise Reed, Jerry Snodgrass. Jerry's amazing. Jerry's amazing. Sonny Folks. I got rid of one, guys. Okay. Craig and Lori, Paula, Michael, Jack, Shelley, and the legend, Dave and Shar King. Okay. I thank you for your time and spending with me today because this really does truly mean a lot. Thank you. Bell Fountain Administration, Marysville, Lehman Administration, I thank you. I thank Greg Peitzmeyer, the late Greg Peitzmeyer, that was a football coach at Bell Fountain. My brother-in-law passed away to cancer. Mary is over there and so forth. But Greg and William Roberts gave me the shot. They gave me the opportunity to start my job at Bell Fountain, Ohio. And we put together some pretty good years. On to that, Dick Horn. Dick Horn, best AD around, just the best. Some of the guys that helped mentor me through the years. Most of you are in the room here. My dad, obviously. Jim Niekamp, Bud Harrelson, Davey Johnson, rest in peace. Bob Wellman, Tony Lucadello. Okay. Just amazing. Trent's back there. Trent and everybody in there. Rick Weaver, everybody. We've had some knockdown dragouts and so forth over the years, respectful competition and so forth. My assistant coaches, Mike Mossbarger, was there all the time. Donnie Kaufman, amazing. Randy Schmidt, Greg St. Clair. Zane, where you at? Zane, did you go uptown? Okay. Zane Bayless, Todd Wilcox. I think Todd's in here somewhere, back there. Dustin Wade, Kurt Barhorst, Art Caudill, and honestly, I referred to it on the podcast as my second dad, Dave King. Dave King. Moving on. Coaching colleagues, great friendships, great friendships. Trent Deuce, Rob Castle, Bruce Cahill, Brian Harlemer, rest in peace, Greg Wilker, Tommy Held, Aaron Schaefer, Jeff and Jim Rebele, Ty Brenning, Bob Brenning, Tom Randall, Timmy Saunders, Scott Manahan, Jeff Melkerk, Ray Benjamin, Chuck Carlo, Frank Gamble, Craig Kyle. I see him way back there in the corner. He took his glasses off. Chris Hardman, Rick Gold, Dave King, and Mark Mouse. Dave Hall, Dave Ewing, Ryan Alexander, and Tom Marker. My players, I ask, okay, if I can find this, I ask for you guys to stand up, okay? And the assistant coaches, please, at this given time. Pat Schmidt, Josh Bowser, Kane Fisher, Adam Kinney, Ben Fulton, Jason Voice, Jeff Turner, Jeremy Burry, Josh Kaufman, Dalton Mossbarger, okay? Assistant coaches, Randy Schmidt, Kurt Barhorst, Todd Wilcox, Zane Bayless, Mossy, Donnie Kaufman, Dave King, Art Caudill, okay? To start a program, and the reason why I have the initial part of my years, my first 5 years of coaching, is because you got to create a foundation. You have to create a foundation. And in today's world, it was easier back then. Today's world, it's just a little bit harder to be able to create it. I came in, and they'll be the first to tell you, I was a demanding SOB, man. Okay, I was demanding commitment and the time they put in to create this foundation we had at Bell Fountain. And Bell Fountain went through years of some really, really, really good talent. I want to thank you guys personally for coming here today. It means the world to me. It really does. Love you guys. Dave King, stand up, please. Okay? Kinger. If you get a chance, make sure when he's walking out the door, rub his head a little bit. He likes that. Okay? Kinger was always a good friend of my dad's. Nate's back there. He popped in. Okay, good. Thanks, Nate, for coming. I lost my dad a couple years ago, and I was truly lost in life. I'll be honest with you, my dad is the rock. He is a man of integrity, character, you name it, and so forth. He's lived a legacy not only through Coldwater and so forth, but it weaved its way up into Bryan. It's weaved its way to Defiance. It's done all that stuff. The Helding-Brunswick relationship is truly amazing, okay? I was lost. I reached out to Dave, and Dave became like my second father. Helped me at Sidney Lehman. A man of compassion, a man of integrity, and a man that just works his tail off. Also a Hall of Famer here, okay? I just wanted to give you a shout out because you mean the world to me, Coach. Love you. Thank you. My family. Boy, let's do this. Jane, Mary, Tom and Peg, Carol and Doug, Jeff and Sandy, Amy and John. I think I got everybody right. Could you please stand up today? Our support staff's amazing. through Dad's death, through all we go through in our family, we're always by each other's side. That's the key to any coaching, is your support staff, the people close to you. Love you. Jeff and Tom. Oh, it's going up. Okay, I'm about done. Jeff and Tom, please stand up. Jeff and Tom. Jeff is at Archbold. Tom has been a lifelong teacher at Salina High School. Jeff is the head coach at Archbold High School. Tom was back-to-back champions with the Grand Lake Mariners way back when. Helped him out a couple years and so forth. I want to thank you guys for the time and what you have given me over the years. Tom was like my agent back in the year. That was before agents were agents. You know, now they're advisors and you name it and so forth. But Tom played big league ball for the Oakland Athletics for Billy Martin. And Tom became my agent over the years and guided me in that right direction. I thank you guys for everything you did for me. Love you. My family, Drew and Ken's. Okay. Please stand up. Please stand up. Hurry it up, I'm on the clock. Okay? You guys truly are my rock, my inspiration. Drew and Kenzie, seeing how you are raising your young kids are amazing. I'm proud of that. Their oldest is 3, and he's named Lou, after my father. Lou carries on, and then we call him Sweet Lou. They have another daughter called Olivia, and she's expecting her 3rd, okay? My wife, my soulmate, my rock. What a journey. What a journey. Boy, I don't know. Some of those days didn't seem like I'd ever get here, huh? Yeah, it was pretty rough. It was pretty rough, okay? But it all starts with the wife at home. I think we know that. And my wife is one of the most amazing persons to me. She gave up her whole life to let me fulfill my passion. And it's just what you do in Coldwater, isn't it, Trent? Okay? I thank you. Love you guys. I'm about done. Finally, I just want to leave this in closing here, okay? I want to leave this in closing because it means a lot to me, because there's a lot of coaches in here. Baseball's a great game. It's a great game. We can't lose the fire for the future of our kids. Young coaches out there, I'm done. Young coaches out there, embrace your kids. Create relationships with them. Tell them you love them. It goes a long way. It goes a long way. And young coaches, embrace your job as a passion for the future. Please do not. Please do not just take the job for a stipend. Please take the job for passion and care, because the kids need it today. The kids need it today. And young coaches, I loved it. Everybody staying in the room and so forth as we go through, because been at these Hall of Fames for a long time. That's the first thing I notice is a lot of people try and sneak out and so forth. This is an honor. This is amazing. And I give everybody thank yous in here and everybody up front here. I thank you. Take care.
Congratulations, Coach Brunswick. At this time, I would like to introduce Eric Tipton, who will present our third inductee, Brent Renollet.
Good afternoon, coaches, family members, friends, and baseball people from all across Ohio. Today we celebrate excellence, longevity, and the kind of impact that goes far beyond wins and losses. It's my honor to introduce a member of the Ohio High School Baseball Coaches Association Hall of Fame class of 2026, Coach Brent Renollet, or as he's known around Tenora and throughout Northwest Ohio, and it sounds like maybe even all of Ohio, BR. Coach Renollet began his high school baseball coaching career in 1988 at Delta High School, where he posted a 37-28 record over his 3 seasons there. After coaching basketball for 8 years, and we won't put that record in there, he took over the Tenora baseball program in 1999. And that's where a truly legendary run began. Over 26 seasons as the head coach of the Tenora Rams, Coach Renollet compiled an incredible 445 and 196 record with just 1 losing season, his very first year. From his first win against Antwerp, he built Tenora High School into one of the area's premier baseball programs and a model of consistency. His resume speaks for itself. 11 Green Meadows Conference titles, 5 district championships, 4 regional titles, and the crown jewel, the 2014 Division IV state championship. The GMC success included championships that began in 2009 and ended last spring, in 2025. His conference record stood at 136-44, highlighted by an astonishing 36-game conference winning streak. Across his 29 years of coaching at Delta and Tenora, Coach Renollet finished with an overall record of 481 wins and 221 losses, reaching his 400th career win fittingly alongside Tenora's 400th program win on May 4th against Ottoville. Of course, there were many outstanding moments throughout his legendary career, but a few come to mind. Derek Dravis and Logan Dickerson stealing home in the 2014 state semifinal win, Clay Pittman's walk-off single to drive in E.J. Kissel to win the 2014 state championship, and undoubtedly the most special of all, celebrating that state championship with his 2 sons, Reed, who was the starting pitcher in the state championship game, and Brevin, who was the starting second baseman. This past May, Tenora honored Coach Renollet by retiring his jersey number 30, now proudly displayed on the back of the Rams baseball press box, which he helped build, along with the field and everything else that's out there at Tenora High School, a permanent reminder of the outstanding baseball program that he built. As Coach constantly mentions, none of this success happens alone. Coach's success was grounded in the support of his wife, Tammy, who shared the long seasons, late nights, and countless sacrifices. And it began long before Tenora with the love and guidance of his parents, Irvin and Mary Lou, who helped shape him into the man and coach we honor today. Coach Renollet didn't just coach baseball and produce solid baseball players. He developed men, built character, created memories, and made a significant impact on the many players that will last a lifetime. Congratulations, Coach, on a truly remarkable career and a well-earned place in the Ohio High School Baseball Coaches Association Hall of Fame. Without further ado, I'd like to present to you Ohio High School Baseball Coaches Association Hall of Fame Class of 2026 inductee, Coach Brent Renollet.
While I was sitting back there, this reminded me when Coach Brunswick was talking. Following Coach Brunswick's, like teaching in the same or coaching in the same county as Tom Held, it doesn't get easy. So, but I'd like to thank several people. First, foremost, the committee for selecting me to the Hall of Fame. It's quite an honor. Very humbled. I'd like to thank several other people, and I'll get my list up. Believe me, it won't be long. I'd I'd like to congratulate the other 4 coaches that were in the Hall of Fame. It was a pleasure meeting you guys the past couple of days. Congratulations. Coach Tipton, good luck with the Tenor baseball program. I'm sure you'll do a great job. As I was researching after I got selected in the Hall of Fame, I researched the Hall of Fame and found out that I've coached against 16 Hall of Fame baseball coaches. And then I went even further. I coached against 6 Hall of Fame basketball coaches. I won't tell you my record against those guys, but wasn't the greatest. But I will tell you, though, I was 3-2 against one of my good friends, Paul Wayne. So that's I can live with that. Sorry, Paul. Just like the rest of us, it takes an army to be successful. It starts with your coaches, as the other coaches said. My assistant coaches, would you please stand? Not with us today are Coach Carey, Coach Hurt, and Coach Henry, but we have several other coaches that are here. Coach Tipton, Coach Farrell, Coach Vogel, he's here somewhere, he didn't stand. Former players that are coaches, Coach Anders and Coach Wittick. And then I also had a coach, he's not standing either. Coach Bergman was with us when we won state. Now he's the right-hand man of Coach Weaver for the Defiance Bulldogs. So thank you, coaches. Without you, it would not have been possible. We had a rule. My coaches, they had to attend Thursday night meetings. We always had Thursday night meetings at a local establishment. That was mandatory. They had to go. And we had one rule. You couldn't talk about baseball. We talked about anything and everything, but we didn't talk about baseball. But that was a lot of fun. We had so much fun. We even had friends show up, and they were just baseball coaches for the night. Ty Gilliam, Dan Lehman, and Jay Hornish. And we had a lot of different people show up for those big meetings on Thursday night. My wife would get home. I'd get home. My wife would say, "What'd you guys talk about?" "Oh, we talked about baseball. It was boring. You wouldn't have liked this." My coaches, that and the Saturday mornings, all day Saturdays, we all know it takes forever, working on the field. They were a great big help throughout this process, and I wouldn't be here without them. Next, I'd like to thank my family and friends. Special thanks to, he's not here today, but Steve Grube. Steve Grube's a local resident of Defiance, and he's given some money, I think, to the Defiance baseball program. But he put turf on our field a few years ago, let me coach a few years longer because I wasn't working on the field anymore. I coached 5 of his sons, and he was generous enough to put turf, so I really appreciate that too, Steve. My back appreciates it. Thank you to my players. Any of my players, would you please stand? I got quite a few of them here, I believe. Yeah, they all played for me. Yeah, you did play, Jay. I did let you play a little bit. But I want to thank you guys. You just, and the guys that are here were very special. And they were on some very special teams. Thank you. I've heard from these 9, 10 young men come today, and I really appreciate that. And I've heard from numerous other guys that played for me through text, through social media. We had a game, and we had 90+ kids come back that I coached for the Bryan game this year. So, and then we went to a local establishment and had fun. But I appreciate those 90-some that come back and all the ones that have texted me. And as the coaches said, it's like they're your own kids. I consider them friends. I really do. So thank you. Happy, Tammy. My wife put happy smile on this paper, so I wouldn't cry. Thank you, honey. All our teams were special for different reasons, but some that stand out was our 2009 team, That was our first district championship. Our 2011 team was our first regional championship, and our 2014 was our state championship team, the first and only state championship in Tenora history. And I know they mentioned it, but 4 straight trips to the state tournament was unreal. My son, my oldest, was a freshman in 2011. He finished every one of his games, his freshman, sophomore, junior year. He lost till his senior year. He lost at Huntington Park. So that was quite an honor. That was his last game. He knew, I'm going to get the state, we're going to lose. But we won in 14, so he got to finally go away winning. In 14, it wasn't that easy. The district's game, we were down 1 run going on the bottom 7th, and we ended up winning on a balk call, thank goodness. And then the state semifinals, as Coach Timpton mentioned, we had to steal home in the 6th inning to tie it, and then we stole home to beat Newark Catholic. Beat Crestview in the 7th, and then a walk-off in the against Newark Catholic in the state finals. Finally, my family. My sister and my brother are here today. My dad played professional baseball for the Brooklyn Dodgers for 3 years, and Mom followed him around. She loved baseball, I think, more than us. And I have 2 older brothers and 1 older sister, and they're much, much, much older than me. 10, 13, and 15 years old. I looked up to them. They were my role models, along with my parents, as I was growing up, because they were so much older. Next, my 2 sons, Reed and Brevin. Brevin is with us today. Brevin, stand up. Brevin came in from Baltimore, and he's got to get back before the 20 inches of snow hits, but he came in. I appreciate you being here. He's getting married in November. Congratulations, Brev. My oldest son is in Chandler, Arizona, Reed. He had a baby boy on December 26th. He's 3 weeks old today. So he couldn't come, and I guess I'll give him a pass. They were young. They were foul ball chasers. They were bat boys. They hung out with the older kids, and he's still hanging out with Jay Hornish. That's not good. Then finally they came to the park, and I'd pitch to them batting practice, and my wife would be in their Cleveland Indians plastic giveaway glove, and she'd be in the running foul balls down and fielding for them. They were my sons. We get home after the ballpark. They were my sons. We didn't talk about baseball at home. It was all on the field. We left it, and we came home. Lastly, Smile Happy. Tammy, my spouse, and my best friend for the past 40 years. Smile Happy, Tammy. She's been very supportive of everything I attempted to do. By most of the time, I didn't deserve it. She wore many hats. Mom, wife, breadwinner. She's an attorney. That's why I'm up here doing this. Disciplinarian, as she claims. She says she disciplined the kids, but maybe she did. Concession stand runner, taxi service, but most importantly, she's the rock of the family and always been there for us. There will certainly be a place in heaven for her. I love you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Coach Renollet. At this time, I would like to introduce Mark Leffler, who will present our 4th inductee, John Sarver.
Thank you. I'd first like to start by congratulating all the inductees on this honor. It's special to be a part of it and to be able to see you guys here today accepting your awards. In the spring of 1980, John Sarver started his high school baseball coaching career at Akron-Kenmore High School. Little did anyone know at that time that it was the start of a career that would span parts of 5 decades, amassing 647 wins, numerous championships, and various awards. Over the course of his career, John spent 1 season at Akron-Kenmore, 2 at Akron-Buchtel, 16 seasons over 2 separate stints at Archbishop Hoban High School, and capped off his career at his alma mater, Ellet High School, where he coached for 25 seasons. During his time at Archbishop Hoban, John and his coaching staff led their teams to 4 district titles, 1 regional title, and 1 state championship appearance. While there, he also coached 3 eventual Major League Baseball draft picks. In 25 years at Ellet, his teams won 18 regular season championships, 15 tournament championships, produced 10 all Akron City Series Players of the Year winners. In addition to that, John won numerous City Series Coach of the Year honors, and in May of 2024, the field at Ellet Community Learning Center was officially named John Sarver Field. Last year, when John was inducted into the Ellet High School Athletics Hall of Fame, I was honored to be asked to introduce him. As I introduce him today into this Hall of Fame, I'm humbled to do so. I have a unique perspective of John Sarver both on the baseball field and outside of athletics. From a baseball perspective, I was able to be a part of John's program at Ellet for 4 years in the early 2000s, 2 of which I played for him on the varsity team. I got to see the way he ran a program, how he led his players and assistant coaches, and how he treated everyone with fairness and respect. Throughout the same time, I dated his daughter, Julianne, who I married several years later. From a family perspective, John carries himself with the same integrity, character, honesty, and commitment as he did for so many years as a coach. Recently, while with him, I overheard a conversation and someone congratulated him on this honor, on being inducted into this Hall of Fame. In his typical fashion, he was humble and modest, kind of joking that it was a longevity award just as much as anything, and a couple of the other coaches have mentioned that as well. While longevity is probably an aspect of any Hall of Fame, so are characteristics that lead to longevity. Success, commitment, integrity, and honesty, to name a few. In the world of athletics, particularly in today's world, coaches who are missing those traits don't last long. 40-plus years of high standards, championship caliber teams, and the ability to evolve to the varying demands of sports and changes of society while staying true to your core values are what create lasting legacies. John should be proud of both his coaching legacy, John should be as proud of his coaching legacy as those around him are proud to be associated with him, the success he has achieved, and the manner in which he has achieved it. Please join me in congratulating Coach John Sarver, 2026 inductee into the Ohio High School Baseball Coaches Association Hall of Fame.
Good afternoon. I also want to thank the committee, the coaches, the assistants, and everyone else on this committee. Congratulations to all the other inductees. Thank you for all the friends and family who were able to come and show up. That means a great deal to me, to have you here. I think each time I got to see you or hug you, it made me even more relaxed than I was before. Thank you for this coaching honor. This is the epitome of a high school coach in Ohio, without a doubt. I want to thank also the administrations of Archbishop Hoban and Akron Public Schools for allowing me to coach their young men for all those years. A special thanks to my wife, Janice, for so many reasons. Her support from the very beginning, We met before I started coaching. She was with me for all the years from Kenmore, getting fired after 1 year. As a principal, I was leaving the principal's office. She said, "We expected more." And I said, "Well, I wish I could get more experience right away and prove you wrong." But from the very beginning, there were situations. My second year in coaching, my wife and I, we got engaged. June 6th was a date that we'd set, and what better day to get married than D-Day, right? And it was unknown at that time, a year and a half before. I took second position at Hoban High School in Akron, and I thought, gosh, we have a young left-hander who's a sophomore. We have another left-hander who had a terrible junior year. We're not going to be that great, right? We go on, and we win the sectional, we win the district, and we're in the regionals. And all of a sudden, I looked at a calendar, and I said, the state championships are on the 5th and 6th of June, when we're supposed to get married. And so I go to my assistant, Dave Sargent, and I said, "Dave, next week, if we should beat Holy Name after winning the first regional game, we would play Holy Name in the regional championship." I said, "You're going to stand in for me one place or the other, Columbus or Ohio, and I'm not sure which one." Little did I know Janice's power, and we lost to Holy Name. She was a true sportsman in all ways. I don't know how many wives would be scorekeepers for their team, but she started in the early 2000s. Every dugout, whether it was away or home, she was there, pencil and paper. I didn't like the new methods. I liked the old school paper and pencil. Put a new pencil sharpener in the dugout just for her. Didn't want to call it the memorial pencil sharpener as of yet. My two daughters, Julianne and Kristen, and just special support that they gave to me. And in the late 1900s, I could see that they were going to eventually attend Elliott High School, and I thought, I'm already coaching football there for a guy named Joe Yost. And Joe did amazing things for me. Joe didn't know much about baseball. I played Little League ball with him. I know he didn't know hardly anything, but he knew football. But most important, he knew how to motivate men. He knew how to motivate people. And that's what he taught me from a very young age. From the 80s, 90s, I learned how to motivate men to want to do, or want to play together, how to do things, how to get them to want to do certain things. I thank Joe for doing that. My two daughters had Leah, Drew, Lauren, Logan, Kate, my grandchildren, just fantastic and special. My first year at Elliott was the year 1999, and was a special time. But I had coached with a guy named Dave Sargent, who was very mellow, very calm. Didn't say too much. He would point out little things to me, and I would soon have a new assistant named Ron Western. Ron was an outstanding person that knew fundamentals on infield, knew fundamentals on how to hit, how to run the bases. He knew baseball already, and he was different than Dave. Dave would be calm if I made a mistake or did something. John, you might want to think about this. Ron would say, "What the heck are you doing?" And I would listen to him. I right away, I knew that's the guy I want to respect, all right? That's the guy I want coaching for me. And, of course, it led to a situation where we were in a city championship game, and I'd already made my 3 trips to the mound. No, I didn't have any more. We're in the 7th inning. We're in the lead. And my starter had enough. I start to walk out to the mound. I got 2 steps out of the dugout. Ron wants to tackle me. He says, John, you've already made your 3 trips. You got to take him out. I said, Ron, I am going to take him out. He goes, oh, okay. Ron also had pull. He had powers. He convinced my daughters to have children in the spring. Now, when you have daughters in the spring, that could be on a game day. 2 years in a row it happened. On game day, game nights, 2 years in a row, I had to miss the game. He knew I'd go to the hospital to be with my daughters, all right? But he somehow convinced my daughters to be able to do that, and it was pretty amazing. Coaching at Ellet, where we lived, was a fantastic time for me. And I just want to understand that, I liked all the things that went along with being able to coach in the community I lived, in the area that I already was coaching football, and I would later teach at the middle school, which led up to Ellet, and that was a great situation because I was able to get to know a lot of the kids before they came into the school. We had some success, but I'm telling you right now, Ron, you were a huge part of me being here. You were a huge part of my success. Janice, I couldn't have done it without you because you were behind me with so much support year after year in so many ways. What wife is going to come to games in late March and early April and sit in the dugout? Most wives would probably be sitting in a car with the motor running with the heat on high, okay? And Janice obviously made that difference. I also got to coach with a guy named Scott Swan, who was a coach, allowed me to have Ron coach first base, through Scott in third, and I could stay in the dugout and talk to the kids, get the pitching ready, do things like that. All right? Why does anyone want to become a coach? I looked at coaching as one important thing. I thought that there was already, being a teacher for 35 years, I knew that there was honors English, there was college prep biology, there were certain things. All right, I looked at baseball or sports in general as honors phys ed, as college prep phys ed, if that was what they choose to do. And I thought that was the idea of coaching. On Jackie Robinson's memorial, where he's buried, under his name it says, "A life is not important except how it impacts others." And I know right now that when you're a coach or a teacher, but especially a coach, because I remember every one of my coaches' names. I can't always remember all my teachers, but I remember what kind of impact they had on my mind and on my brain and on my future. And I think Jackie was right. Until you impact others, your life is very average or below average. When you impact others, like we have as coaches, it's just immortalized. I thank you so much for this award. Bless you all.
Congratulations, Coach Sarver. At this time, I would like to introduce Trevor Yoder, who would present our 5th inductee, Kevin Yoder.
It's an incredible honor to stand here tonight and introduce someone who's not only a Hall of Fame coach, but my dad, Kevin Yoder. To many of you, Coach Yoder is known for their wins, the league championships, and the decades of dedication to Ohio high school baseball. But to those who know him best, he's known for something more important, the impact he's had on people. He has built his culture on 2 simple words: deserve success. To him, that meant having discipline on the field, taking accountability for your actions, and working together towards a common goal, and learning how to handle both failure and success, something that I'm still trying to work on. He has taught countless players how to be better athletes, but more importantly, how to become better men long after their time on the field is over. His standards were high. He never wavered, even for his own son. For instance, when he said dressed and ready to go by 3 o'clock, he meant it. I personally found this out on my first varsity start when I arrived at 3:02 because I forgot my jersey and had to spend the game on the bench. He didn't scold me afterwards, though. He proceeded to bring me into his office the next day and explain that if I wouldn't have been a dummy and just talked to him, he would have got me a different jersey. The lesson wasn't about just forgetting a jersey. It was about taking accountability and being responsible. Coaching was never just a job for him. It was a calling. He spent endless hours on the field, in the cages, and having conversations that went far beyond baseball. He cared deeply about every player who wore his uniform and treated each one as if they were his own. Because of him, they were and they are part of his family. As a son, I've seen the sacrifices that come with the dedication, the late nights, the long seasons, and always putting others first. But I've also seen the pride he takes in his players' success, whether it's a big win on the field, a graduation, or watching them grow up into leaders and parents themselves. This Hall of Fame honor is not a recognition of his victories, but it's a recognition of his character and commitment and lifelong love for the game. Dad, I'm incredibly proud of you. Thank you for being a role model for so many years, and even greater one at home. I'm glad to have you by my side as I start my coaching journey. And ladies and gentlemen, it's my distinct honor to introduce the newest inductee of the OHSBCA Hall of Fame, Coach Kevin Yoder.
Yeah, that was a tough moment. I walk in the locker room. They know 3 o'clock means 3 o'clock. I shut down the mower on the field. We walk in to go over scouting reports. Go over the scouting report. We're done. Everybody's kind of looking at me, and I'm like, "What?" And everybody's scared to say a word, and I'm like, "What is going on?" And then I realized somebody wasn't there yet. So we learned. We moved on. Things worked out. Obviously, we had a lot of fun, and truly, getting to coach my son after 20-some years of being a head coach was pretty special. I enjoyed every moment of it, even the rough times. So, just like to start by congratulating my fellow inductees. You guys have left a lasting impact on baseball in your communities and the state. So, congratulations. I'd also like to thank the association, obviously for the honor, but for all you do for baseball in the state of Ohio. I've been to clinics in other states, met a lot of coaches from across the United States, and nobody does it like Ohio. I mean, this is first class in everything they do and safeguarding the game of baseball, and I appreciate that very much. I'd like to start by thanking the people sitting at my table for coming today to celebrate with me. My wife, Donna, has been with me for going on 23 years. My stepdaughter, Lexi, is here with her husband, Jansen. Unfortunately, I think my granddaughter, Olivia, is asleep out there right now, and Owen, but appreciate them coming down here. It's been fun, a blessing. We've recently got to move up to Massillon Perry to be close to them and get to see them every day, so I appreciate you coming down. It was a lot of fun last night building Legos with Owen in the hotel room. Obviously, my son Trevor, who recently graduated from Walsh, will be coaching baseball at Sandy Valley this spring. Very happy to have Chad Laney, a dear friend who I actually got to coach against when he was in high school. He was one of the toughest competitors I ever coached against. I was fortunate enough to hire him as an assistant coach at Tri-Valley, and then he went back home to Ridgewood and has been a very, very successful head coach at Ridgewood ever since. And I also very pleased to have my high school principal from Perry, drove all the way down, went in, started the PD day this morning for our staff, got in his car, drove all the way down here for this to support me. I'm very, very fortunate to work with him on a daily basis as our principal at the high school. We spend a lot of time together because he doesn't miss home games. He doesn't miss away games. And we're in the car some nights driving an hour and a half for a game, and I appreciate that. He understands the importance of high school athletics. I'll have to admit, I'm a little overwhelmed with gratitude and disbelief right now. When I started coaching, my goals were pretty simple. Learn how to take care of a baseball field, make it look right, don't get thrown out too often, and try to teach a little baseball along the way. So being inducted in the Coaches Hall of Fame wasn't exactly on the original checklist. To my former players, and I have a few people I need to thank, you're the reason I'm standing here today. There were so many early mornings, late nights, off-season workouts. You guys were the heart of the journey. They allowed me to coach them hard. They trusted me, and they bought in the idea that baseball is far more than about being about stats. It's about teamwork, always competing and giving your best effort, and learning how to bounce back, when you get knocked down. And I think that's one of the greatest things about baseball. Always remember the big wins, league titles, or tournament runs, but the moments that stick with me the most as I reflect on my years as a coach are kind of just those everyday things. The dugout jokes, the bus rides, those conditioning sessions, all the time that we spent together, just really being a family. And that's what I remember the most. I was fortunate to have had some great coaches as mentors, and I want to make sure I thank a few people. Don Hurtler Jr. was the head coach at Garraway, and he's a Hall of Fame football coach. He went on to coach at North Canton Hoover, but he was also a heck of a baseball coach, and he allowed me, while I was student teaching at Garraway, to be on his staff, and I learned a lot from him. I had, in my opinion, the greatest high school basketball coach that's ever coached in Ohio, Perry Reese Jr. I can't even begin to tell you what he taught me, but most importantly, probably how to connect with players and how to push them beyond what they thought they could accomplish. After I graduated from college, came back, I had the ability to teach. I was in the social studies department with him at Berlin Highland. I was a head coach there, but his advice on a daily basis was invaluable. Two other veteran coaches I want to make sure that I recognize are Terry Griffith from Fairless High School and Dave DiNato from Indian Valley. I was a young coach. They allowed me to come work their camps. They spent countless hours with me, teaching me what they knew about baseball. And they're still, when I ended up my last year coach, I'm still doing drills that they taught me. My greatest mentor, my father, he's the one who gave me the love for baseball. My first coach. He taught me how important it is to do my best every day. He taught me about discipline and how to work hard. I know he'd be proud if he was here today. I was blessed with many loyal, dedicated coaches over the years. They're the reason, again, why, in addition to my players, why I'm here. They made me look organized. They made me look competent on a daily basis. At Highland, I had the privilege of working with Chuck Reynolds, Toby Yoder, Craig Hirschberger, and Thurman Mullet, who brought dedication and loyalty and a whole lot of patience as I was figuring out how to be a head coach. At Coshocton, there was Ben Tufford, Verl Merlat, Steve Jones, Craig Host, Scott Loomis, and Pat Riley. You guys were incredible, brought so much energy and great ideas and made it feel like a family. And at Tri-Valley, I was fortunate to work alongside Chad Laney, Mark Hadley, who's the current head coach at Tri-Valley, Tom Crowley, who, congratulations, just was named the head coach at West Muskingum. Incredible pitching coach. Robert Spillman, who was the head coach at Zanesville Rosecrans. Pat Riley, who went on to coach at West Muskingum as the head coach. Cam West, a former player who became the head football coach at Tri-Valley. He's currently the principal now at Tri-Valley. Probably the hardest-nosed player I ever had, a 4-year starter for me, Tyler McGee, who came back and coached. Chad Kinchlow and Logan Scott. And you guys, every single day, embrace the standard, help shape our program. We had a lot of pride. Took a lot of time developing that teamwork aspect with our teams. Couldn't have found a more knowledgeable group of baseball coaches or coaches who cared about kids than those guys. So one of my greatest gifts of my career is in the friendships I've been able to make through coaching. At Highland, I want to mention a couple people that I started out with, great rivals who became great friends. John Slesser at Ridgewood, Phil Forshee at Garraway, DJ Butler. at GSIO, who I respected very much. We always competed hard. We tried to outsmart each other. We lied about who was really rebuilding. But we always shook hands as friends when the games were over. In the ECUL, I had the privilege of coaching against another dear friend, Doug Bircher at Dover, Dave DiDonato, and then later Shannon McComb at Indian Valley, and Rod Lindsay at Riverview. You guys made every game a challenge, and every post-game handshake, we had a lot of laughs and a lot of stories we shared. And then finally at Tri-Valley, I got to know and play league games against Nate Pratty at Maysville, Brad Barkley at John Glenn, two of the greatest people that I ever met in coaching. We had a lot of fun. Did a lot of great things at their schools. And then got to play yearly non-league games against some of the best. Dave Klontz at Heath, Don Thorpe at Lakewood, John Canizero, and you've heard those names from some of our other coaches today as well at Newark Catholic. Can't tell you how much it meant to be able to play them every day. Love those guys. They shared everything with me. Their teams were always incredibly, incredibly disciplined and fundamental, completely different styles of coaching, but great men. And then also while I was there, Donnie Schoen at Watkins Memorial, and then Bill Gamble up at Jackson would let us make the trip up there, and it was a great honor to go to Stark County and play Jackson. I mean, we always wanted to challenge our kids, to help make them better, and playing against programs like that is the way to do it, in my opinion. You know, obviously, I wouldn't want to know what my winning percentage was against those teams and coaches that I just mentioned, but they help make us better. The friendships are the reminder that baseball isn't about wins and losses. Like I said, it's the people who share the journey. There's so many fun times at clinics, talking baseball until the sun came up, group texts and phone calls after games to see how each other's teams had done, and preseason get-togethers with great food, late-night garage discussions where we figured out everything with a beer or two. And I want to say thank you for your friendship, your respect, and the memories. To the communities at Highland, Coshocton, and Tri-Valley, thank you for trusting me with your programs. You gave me the opportunity to work with great kids, supportive families, and great coaches, and I'm grateful for every season. Most importantly, I want to thank my family. You know, coaching isn't something you do alone, as you've heard from many of the coaches up here today. It takes your evenings, your weekends, your summers, and occasionally your sanity. But my wife, Donna, and our children, Lexi and Trevor, supported me through all of it. Thank you for allowing me to do the job I loved. All the dinners, track meets, and youth games I missed, vacations we rescheduled, and the times you sat in the stands in weather only baseball coaches could justify. You're the foundation that made it all possible. Finally, just the game of baseball, what it's taught me: patience, humility, perseverance, and how to deal with failure. It teaches you to keep competing no matter what comes your way. Giving me friendships, memories, laughter, and most importantly, a sense of purpose. Like we've heard some of the other coaches say, and I'll always cherish that. Coaching allowed me to watch young men grow, learn, and succeed, and that's the greatest reward a coach can receive. And I can tell you, with all sincerity, every call and text from a former player that I've gotten since I retired means far more than any win as a coach. Why I was doing that. So the Hall of Fame induction obviously is not about me. It's a story of a lot of people who supported me along the way, and I thank them. Truly an honor to be here today. Thank you. Congratulations, Coach Yoder, and all 5 inductees. At this time, I'd like to introduce our current president, Brian Hitchcox.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brian Hiscox, and I am the president of the Ohio High School Baseball Coaches Association. First, I'd like to offer my congratulations to Tim, Mark, Brent, John, and Kevin. Gentlemen, this is a very well-deserved honor. And could everybody join me in giving them one more big round of applause? It has been an honor to serve this association as the president this year, and as the outgoing president, I am happy to introduce our new president, Chad Johnson. Congratulations, Chad.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate it very much. First of all, congratulations to all these fabulous inductees. You guys are the pinnacle of our sport, and thank you for making baseball better in Ohio. Next, thank you to our board of directors up here, these men up here, for having confidence in me to go through these chairs and become the president of this great organization. It is one of my biggest honors in my life. These guys are a special group. And I thank you all. And I'm not going to speak for very long here. So finally, we're not done yet. Our clinic is going to start here in about 2 minutes to continue on here. And thanks, everybody. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I'd like to introduce Scott Manahan for a special presentation.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Coach Brunswick for going the longest today. Congratulations, Mark. We had a lot of guys lost money. We had you 20 minutes and over, so you did fine. 14:37. Great job. I'm here today because this is a kind of a sad moment for me, for our board. We have been blessed to have Father Mike Watson here with us doing his rhyming prayer. It'll never be replaced. And he's finally decided now that he's retired that he really wants to retire. He has taken non-trips to Florida and different things to be here for this, to sit for the long, and he's sat through them all. I've never seen him even leave to go to the restroom once. And his prayer is priceless, and his benedictions are always been solid, and he's hanging them up. So we wanted to present him with an award here from us because we have been honored. And I want you to know, Father Watson, when the great Kenny Grimes passed, you know, we lost a great friend. And when you became my Ken Grimes. And I appreciate you so much, and I appreciate what you do here for the Ohio High School Baseball Coaches Association. If you would stand up, please. Oh, you're getting a standing ovation. The bat reads, in gratitude to Father Michael Watson. I was a longtime Watterson employee, so I call him Father Mike Watterson. And it's listed the OHSBCA Banquet Prayer Priest. Coach, or Father Watson, you say a couple words, please.
I don't know if I can speak too long because I think I drank too much tea. At the same time, it's a great honor to receive this bat, although I never was a hitter. I was more of a pitcher. But I did pitch a lot of sermons on the mound, like Jesus did as well. Baseball was my first love growing up, and my favorite team was the Milwaukee Braves with Warren Spahn, Hank Aaron, and Eddie Matthews. And I also was a Braves fan because my brother was a Reds fan, and I didn't like my brother. But it was their golden years way back when. But nevertheless, I just feel honored to have been part of baseball. Was just very much the game back then. It was truly the American pastime. And I've benefited greatly through it, especially in high school, having a coach like John Durant, and who also became principal later on, and really was a great mentor to me. And sometimes he had to threaten to put his foot in my posterior while I was on the mound, getting a little bit nervous. But baseball really taught great lessons for me, and John is still kicking around, and I always enjoy his company. But nevertheless, I think I've said enough, and let us get on with the show here, so I'll do a final benediction. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time to be inspired and enriched by the coaches who have been honored by being inducted into the Ohio High School Coaches Hall of Fame, for their strong witness and leadership, promoting the values that endure the test of time. May we benefit from their witness and wisdom as we leave here today. May we continue to grow in your divine life and love. And may your blessing descend upon us and remain with us forever. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. Go in peace.
As we close out the banquet today, we would like to remind all past presidents, Hall of Famers, new inductees, and their families to join us in the Juniper Room for a past president Hall of Fame reception. Thank you all very much.